Students, today let's learn about participles and how participles help us to combine sentences. Also learn to distinguish between gerund and participles. In lesson number 8, we have learned about non-finite verbs. Infinitives means to plus verb. Infinitives can be used as nouns. Gerunds, ing form of verb that functions partly as a verb and partly as a noun. Participles, ing form of verb that functions partly as a verb and partly as an adjective. Students, today let's get familiar with participles. Participles are of two kinds, present participle and past participle. The table displayed above indicates only a few examples of present tense, past tense, present participle, past participle. For example, forgive, forgave, forgiving, forgiven, become, became, becoming, become, draw, drew, drawing, drawn, fall, fell, falling, fallen, shrink, shrank, shrinking, shrunk, speak, spoke, speaking, spoken, withdraw, withdrew, withdrawing, withdrawn. In addition to present participle and past participle, there is also perfect participle. Perfect participle represents an action that was completed at some point of time in the past. 1. Having finished her food, she read a book. Having delivered the message, he left immediately. Having climbed up the hill, he sat down to relax. Having lost his passport, he applied for a new one. Students, the words in italic, having finished, having delivered, having climbed, having lost, are example of perfect participle. These sentences actually mean 1. After finishing her food, she read the book. Second one, after delivering the message, she left immediately. Third one, after climbing up the hill, he sat down to relax. Fourth one, after losing his passport, he applied for a new one. The perfect participle represents an action that was completed at some point of time in the past. Participles mean ing form of verb that functions partly as a verb and partly as an adjective. Example 1. Dancing dolls are sold here. 2. They bought baking trays. The words dancing, baking are formed from the verb dance, bake by adding ing. dancing, baking are describing the nouns, dolls and trays. So the words dancing, baking are performing the work of an adjective. Dancing describes the dolls. Baking describes the trays. A verb that functions as an adjective is called participle. We say that a participle is a verbal adjective. When a participle ends with an ing, it is called a present participle. Third example, the wounded soldiers were taken home. The painted shop was inaugurated in the morning. In sentence 3 and 4, when a participle ends with ed, d, t, en or n is called a past participle. The words wounded, painted is formed from the verb wound, paint by adding ed. But wounded, painted is also describing soldiers and shop. For example, wounded soldiers, painted shops. Fill in the blanks with present or past participle form of verbs given in the brackets. Students, remember that present and past participle are verbs that function as an adjective. 1. She likes to admire the dash stars. She likes to admire the twinkling stars. Second, the dash cake was cut hurriedly. The baked cake was cut hurriedly. The dash brakes were repaired by the mechanic. The screeching brakes were repaired by the mechanic. The dash students were asked to come for a group photo session. The awarded students were asked to come for a group photo session. The dash incident disturbed the children. The horrifying incident disturbed the children. The words twinkling, baked, screeching, awarded, horrifying are describing the nouns stars, cake, brakes, students, incident. Students, let's learn how to combine sentences by using participles. 1. I watered the plants. I went to the library. Having watered the plants, I went to the library. Second one, I walked up to the front door. I rang the bell. Walking up to the front door, I rang the bell. Third, she had learned dancing in school. She decided to choreograph the dance for the competition. Having learned dancing in school, she decided to choreograph the dance. Bina heard the news. She rushed out of the house. On hearing the news, Bina rushed out of the house. Fifth example, Molly entered the house. She saw her puppy playing on the carpet. On entering the house, Molly saw her puppy playing on the carpet. Underline the participles and gerunds. Students, in this exercise, let's learn to distinguish between participles and gerunds. 1. Blooming flowers look beautiful. 2. Sleeping children should not be disturbed. Blooming, sleeping describes the noun flowers, children, and therefore acts as an adjective. So, blooming, sleeping are verbal adjectives, or we can say a participle, that is present participle. Singing devotional songs is her hobby. Mountaineering is a popular adventurous sport. Parking is not allowed in certain areas. The words singing, mountaineering, parking are gerunds. Like a noun, they are used as the subject of the given sentence. 6th, the shouting children were told to sit quietly in school. Shouting describes the noun children and therefore acts as an adjective. We can say a participle.